Hello and welcome to the latest video on my top 1000 countdown. On this video we're covering fighters 720 down to 711. So let us go to fighter number 720 now. Okay, is Ricardo Mayorga, a more recent era fighter. Okay, Ricardo Mayorga beat 4 world champions. He fought just over 100 rounds against champions with a total of 102. And Ricardo Mayorga beat no Hall of Fame fighters. He did fight 44 rounds against Hall of Famers. And Mayorga had a total of 12 fights against rated opponents. Just give me 1 second. I thought, 'cause if I don't press it, okay, someone's going to ring it. Guaranteed. So Ricardo Mayorga scored 26 knockouts, okay, 14 in 3 rounds or less, and 5 in the first round. Mayorga was top 10 rated for a total of 2 years, and the longest unbeaten run in his career was an unbeaten run of 18 fights. Now, Mayorga was never pound for pound rated, okay, himself. He did have 9 fights against pound for pound fighters, scoring 3 wins. He also scored 2 wins against pound for pound top 3 fighters, and 2 wins against pound for pound number 1 rated fighters. And Ricardo Mayorga's opposition fought rate comes in at 2 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 1 from 13. So Mayorga, okay, had 12 fights against champions. That includes 5 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, with 2 knockouts. He had 5 fights against Hall of Famers up to now, suffering defeats in all 5 fights. And Mayorga has 7 world title fights to his credit. That includes 4 wins, 3 losses, no draws, and 2 title defences. So Mayorga kicks off the 10, okay, going to our next fighter, fighter number 719. We're going back in time, okay, to tough contender Jim Hall. Jim Hall beat 1 world champion individually. He fought 25 rounds against champions. And Jim Hall beat 2 Hall of Fame fighters individually, fighting 45 rounds against Hall of Famers throughout his career. Now, as a pre-rating era fighter, of course, he has 0 fights against rated opponents. And Jim Hall scored 39 knockouts, 12 inside 3 rounds or less, and 4 in the first round. Jim Hall was never top 10 rated, being a pre-rating era fighter. And the longest unbeaten run in his career was an unbeaten run of 19 fights. Now, Jim Hall was never pound for pound rated in my all-time rankings, but he did have 13 fights against pound for pounders, scoring 5 wins. He scored 2 wins against pound for pound top 3 fighters and 2 wins against pound for pound number 1 rated fighters. And Jim Hall's opposition fought rate comes in at 3 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 1 from 13. So, Jim Hall, 6 fights against champions, includes 2 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 1 knockout. Against Hall of Famers, he had a total of 9 fights, okay, including 3 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, with 1 knockout. And Jim Hall had 0 world title fights. So on to fighter number 718, okay, he's a fearsome puncher from the lower weights, Jesus Pimentel. Now, Jesus Pimentel, who really was a big puncher, beat no world champions, okay, fought 23 rounds against champions. A number of fighters did really not want to go near Jesus Pimentel. He beat no Hall of Fame fighters, and he fought 11 rounds against a Hall of Famer. And Pimentel had a total of 12 fights against rated opponents. Now, in knockouts, he has a lot, okay. Jesus Pimentel scored 68 knockouts, okay, 35 of them in 3 rounds or less, and Pimentel scored 14 first round wins. Now, he was top 10 rated as a fighter for a total of 8 years, and the longest unbeaten run in his career was an unbeaten run of 38 fights in total. Now, Pimentel was never pound for pound rated. He did have 2 fights against pound for pounders, scoring no wins in the 3 pound for pound categories, and his opposition fought rate is 2 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 2 from 13. So Pimentel had 2 fights against champions, both were defeats. He had 1 fight against a Hall of Famer, again a defeat, and he has 1 title fight that is a defeat, but a very dangerous puncher indeed. So on to our next fighter, and it is John H. Stracey, okay, pictured battling the great Jose Napoles himself. Now, John H. Stracey, okay, beat 2 world champions. He fought 28 rounds against champions, and he beat 1 Hall of Fame fighter, the aforementioned Jose Napoles, fighting 18 rounds against Hall of Famers throughout his career. And John H. Stracey had 7 fights against rated opponents. He scored a total of 37 knockouts, 14 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 0 in the first round. John H. Stracey was top 10 rated for a total of 4 years, and the longest unbeaten run in his career was an unbeaten run of 23 fights. Now, Stracey was pound for pound rated for 1 year, and he had 3 fights against pound for pounders, scoring 2 wins. He scored 1 win against a pound for pound top 3 fighter and 1 win against a pound for pound number 1 fighter. And John H. Stracey comes in with opposition fought rate score 2 from 18 and opposition beat rate 2 from 13. So, from his 3 fights against champions, Stracey has 2 wins, 1 loss, no draw with 2 knockouts. He has 2 fights against Hall of Famers, of course, 1 win, 1 loss, 0 draws and 1 knockout. And he has 3 world title fights, including 2 wins, 1 loss, no draw and 1 title defence. So, John H. Stracey scored, the win, won the world title, etc., etc. Doesn't have the deepest resume you can imagine, not even amongst British fighters, UK fighters. So on to our next fighter, is Thomas Adamek. Now, Thomas Adamek, beat 2 world champions. He fought 54 rounds against champions, and Adamek fought from light heavy right up to heavyweight. Good morning, man. Good to see you, buddy. Now, Adamek beat no Hall of Fame fighters. He did fight 10 rounds against a Hall of Famer. And Adamek comes in with a total of 15 fights against rated opponents. He scored 31 knockouts, 15 in 3 rounds or less, and 2 in the first round. And Adamek was top 10 rated for a total of 8 years. Now, his longest unbeaten run was a run of 31 fights, and Adamek was pound for pound rated for 1 year. I realised as well when I removed my old channel that all the pound for pound listings in video, the whole playlist was also gone. I was like, wow, I should have downloaded the slides. I could have redone the videos, but never mind. He was pound for pound rated for 1 year. He had 2 fights against pound for pounders, scores no wins in the 3 pound for pound categories. And Thomas Adamek's opposition fought rate was 2 from 18, and his opposition beat rate was 2 from 13. So Adamek has 5 fights against champions to his credit, including 3 wins, 2 losses, no draws, with 1 knockout. He has 1 fight against a Hall of Famer, of course, a very big Hall of Famer that was a defeat, and he has 8 title fights, including 6 wins. I meant big as in height and size. 8 title fights, including 6 wins, 2 losses, no draws, and 4 title defences. So there is Adamek in 716. When we go to fight is 715. It is Fabrice Tiozzo. Now, Fabrice Tiozzo, defeated 6 world champions. He was a good fighter as well. He fought 73 rounds against champions. Tiozzo beat 1 Hall of Fame fighter individually, fighting 25 rounds against Hall of Famers. And he had a total of 9 fights against rated opponents. Now, Tiozzo scored 31 knockouts, 15 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 5 in the first round. And Tiozzo was top 10 rated throughout his career for a decade, a total of 10 years. His longest unbeaten run was a run of 25 fights, and he was pound for pound rated for 0 years. Now, Tiozzo had 4 fights against pound for pound fighters, scoring 2 wins. He scores 0 wins in his career against pound for pound top 3 or pound for pound number 1 rated fighters, and his opposition fought rate is 2 from 18, and the opposition beat rate is 2 from 13. Now, there's a contender, coming up later in Countdown. I won't give any clues, but just to demonstrate the opposition fought rate, there's a contender who never won a world title who has an opposition fought rate of 8. And he's a contender that some people have never heard of. It's just going to be one of the many things released during the Countdown with the opposition score. So there is Tiozzo's main stats there. So when we look at his fights against champions, he scored 6 wins, 2 losses, no draws, and 2 KOs. He has 3 fights against Hall of Famers, including 1 win, 2 loss, no draw, and 0 KOs. And he has 11 title fights. That includes 9 wins, 2 losses, no draws, and he made 6 title defences. So there's Fabrice Tiozzo in 715. When we go to fight at 714, a bit like Jim Hall, we're going back to an old contender who very few have heard of, called Patsy Sweeney. Now, Patsy Sweeney, defeated 2 world champions. He fought 81 rounds against champions. And Sweeney defeated no Hall of Fame fighters. He fought 12 rounds against a Hall of Famer. And as a pre-rating era fighter, he has 0 fights against rated opponents, although had ratings been around, that would be a very different story. Now, Sweeney Sweeney scored 34 knockouts in his career, 16 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 1 in the first round, and his pre-rating era, so he was never top 10 rated. His longest unbeaten run comes to a total of 21 fights, and he was pound for pound rated for 0 years. Now, Patsy Sweeney, had 15 fights against pound-for-pound fighters. He scored 2 wins, and he scored 1 win against a pound-for-pound top 3 fighter, but 0 wins against pound-for-pound number 1 fighters. And his opposition fought rate comes in at 4 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 1 from 13. So, Patsy Sweeney had 8 fights against champions. That includes 2 wins, 6 losses, no draws, and 2 KOs. Patsy Sweeney, of course, is one of the new names, from the last countdown. I've mentioned a number of them already, and all the way through the countdown, right up to the top 100, there are new names cropping up here or there. Now, Patsy Sweeney had 1 fight against a Hall of Famer that was a defeat, and he has 0 title fights. So there's contender Patsy Sweeney. A few more unknown contenders, Patsy Sweeney and Jim Hall in this current video. Many more to come. But now we're going back to a heavyweight contender from the turn of the last century. Black Bill. Not to be confused with the Black Bill, Eladio Valdez, the great flyweight fighter who is higher in the countdown. Black Bill, the heavyweight, beat 4 world champions. He fought a total of 123 rounds against champions. And Black Bill held wins over 3 individual Hall of Famers, fighting 94 rounds against them. And in a much reduced number, due to him being pre-rating era, Black Bill only had 1 fight against a man who was rated in his career. That number would be massively higher for this fighter had ratings been around. He mixed in really elite and tough company. Black Bill scored 22 knockouts, 17 of them in 3 rounds or less, and he scored 7 first round wins. Now, of course, as pre-rating era, Black Bill was never top 10 rated. His longest unbeaten run was a run of 11 fights, and he himself was never pound for pound rated. He did have 16 fights against pound for pound fighters, scoring 2 wins. He scored 1 win against a pound for pound top 3 fighter and 0 wins against pound for pound number 1 fighters. And Black Bill's opposition fought rate comes in at 4 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 1 from 13. So kind of mirroring Patsy Sweeney, fought very tough opposition, lost a lot of those fights against that tough opposition, scored some key wins here or there, but really mixed in really tough company. But the winning element, stops him going any higher. His main career gets him to where he is. Had he won more of those big fights, he would have obviously scored higher, but sadly he didn't. It's just one of those things, and it works that way for fighters. I don't have favourites, but there's certain careers I enjoy looking at, others blah blah blah. It goes the same for any fighter I admire or like as well. The ratings are what they are, no matter where they finish. So Black Bill had 20 fights against champions. That includes 4 wins, 13 losses, 3 draws, and 1 knockout. He has a massive total of 17 fights against Hall of Famers, including 3 wins, 13 losses, 1 draw, and 1 knockout, and he has 0 title fights. But fighting in the era of Langford, Johnson, McVeigh, Jeanette, George Cole, Peter Jackson, all these fighters who were around at the time, he was always going to have to mix in tough company because the era was very tough. So, from Black Bill then in 713, let's go down to 712. It's another heavyweight, but we're coming forward in time. To the excellent heavyweight, Chris Bird. Former 2-time heavyweight champion. Now, Chris Bird beat 4 world champions individually. He fought 71 rounds against champions. And he actually beat 2 individual Hall of Famers. Fighting 40 rounds against Hall of Famers throughout his career. Chris Bird had a total of 16 fights against rated opponents. And he scored 22 knockouts. 8 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 2 in the first round. Now, Chris Bird was top 10 rated as a fighter for a total of 7 years, and is that Jameel McCline he's fighting there, I think. And his longest unbeaten run was a run of 26 fights. Now, Chris Bird was top 10 pound for pound rated, for 1 year. He had 4 fights against pound for pounders, scoring 2 wins. Chris Bird scored 2 wins against pound for pound top 3 fighters and 1 win against a pound for pound number 1 rated fighter. Chris Bird's opposition fought rate comes in at 2 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 2 from 13. So Bird had 7 fights against champions. That includes 4 wins, 3 losses, no draws, with 1 knockout. He has 4 fights against Hall of Famers, not 2, including 2 wins, 2 losses, no draws, and 1 knockout. And he has 8 title fights. That includes 5 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 4 title defences. So Chris Bird is fighter 9 of 10. Let us go to the 10th fighter now. Okay, and it's a low weight fighter not often spoke of, Ulysses Solis. Ulysses Solis, okay, beat 6 world champions. He fought a total of 123 rounds against champions. And Solis beat no Hall of Fame fighters also, as yet has fought no rounds against Hall of Famers. And Solis had a total of 15 fights against rated opponents. Now Solis scored 22 knockouts in his career, 8 of them in 3 rounds or less, and 3 in the first round. Ulysses Solis also was top 10 rated for nearly a decade throughout his career, a total of 9 years, and the longest unbeaten run in his career was an unbeaten run of 19 fights. Now Solis was never pound for pound rated, and he also had no fights against pound for pounders, so scored no wins in the 3 pound for pound categories. 3 categories that have scores here or there, but obviously as we go up in the countdown you'll get much bigger figures in those. His opposition fought rate is 2 from 18, and his opposition beat rate is 1 from 13. So realistically, okay, Ulysses Solis has been a world champion, but realistically he hasn't beat a higher level of competition than, say, a Patsy Sweeney, even though he was a world champion. So anyway, Ulysses Solis had 13 fights against champions. That includes 9 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 4 knockouts. He has 0 fights against Hall of Famers. And in title fights, he has a large title fight record, Ulysses Solis, including 14 world title fights. Solis won 10, only lost 2, drew 2, and Solis made 9 title defences. So there's my latest video, 7:20 to 11. I will try, I don't know if I'll guarantee, but I'll try and get a career video sneaked in tonight in between, before another video on my top 1000. The video that comes on my top 1000 tomorrow will actually be the first 300 fighters of my top 1000 down. Okay, in videos I'm getting ready at the minute, I've just got ready today, video 620 to 611. Okay, so it's going to catch me time to catch up on myself, so I should be able to make a big inroad into my top 1000. But at the same time, I'm wanting to do more career videos. So here or there, when I do a top 1000 video in the morning, if I can, I'll squeeze a career video in at night. So some days there may be 2 videos coming, but I'm going to keep on top 1000 until I catch up on myself. So there's my latest video. Big shout out to Matt in chat. Check your email, buddy. And as for that, you know, I will leave you there. I am thinking, you know, about future content, because ultimately when my top 1000 is finished, I'll have the career videos and I will need another kind of video, you know, or another kind of content to augment my channel, because even though it's going to be career videos crazy, here or there, like today, if I do another career video, I might want to do some different videos. So I'm going to have a sit and think over the next few days about what I want that to be. I was originally going to do stat showcases, like intricate showcases on fighters, but I thought, well, I'm doing the career videos, there's no point me doing a deeper version of a career video when I'm already doing the career video. And also I've come to realise that not all the information I have I want out. Now whether I do a different kind of career video, or whether I just, you know, rebuild a Hall of Fame, because that Hall of Fame playlist is gone, I don't know, okay, or whether I do matchups, I don't know, but I'm going to have a think about it, because as well as career videos I do need some other content. I'm starting a brand new channel, so I need to have some diverse content, not just a top 1000 and career videos, so I will have a think about that. But in the meantime, okay, I will say it was a big joy to catch Rasclot live the other day. He was very complimentary and said many kind words. I appreciate that. I never seek any kind of justification or praise or anything like that, but I did appreciate his kind words. Me and Rasclot actually have just passed 2 months ago, I believe it is, just past the 10th anniversary since we first met on here. Me and Rasclot first got talking in 2015. I'd come on YouTube towards the end of 2014 when I heard another of my longtime friends on here, Haplotype Zero, on a debate, you know, and he to me was the voice of reason on that debate. small amount of reason I heard in that debate. He was the one speaking it. But, I met Rasclot soon after coming on YouTube, so I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Rasclot for all the support you've given me, buddy. You've been following my channel for years. We've been friends on here years, and, never had a wrong word. Such a great guy, and I always appreciate having him around. So I'd like to thank Rasclot for his kind words, even though they were not sought by me. It was kind of him to offer them. As for everyone else, all my channel subscribers and people who followed me from your channel, big shout out to you all. I really appreciate all of you, and going forward I will certainly try to produce the best boxing content I can, and whatever I decide to do, whether I decide to relist my pound for pound rankings, maybe doing 10 years of video, I don't know, rebuild a Hall of Fame, I don't know, but I will think of something. So anyway, I will catch you all later. Enjoy the day. Try to avoid sunburn. It's very, very hot here again. It's the third weekend on trot where it's going really hot, but then through week it's windy or rainy and cool, and then it gets to weekend and it goes hot. I'm not a fan of hot weather, me. I don't like it too hot. About 20C to 23C, I'm topped out. All beyond that, it just becomes oppressive. You can't walk, you sweat, you can't lift your finger, you sweat. You see, in the UK, unlike some other places abroad, we have a high humidity level. So when it goes hot, it's sticky hot and it's horrible. So yeah, not a big fan. But anyway, everyone, please have a good day. Everyone take care, and I'll see you either tonight for a career video or back in the morning to finish up the first 300 of my top 1000. I'm Boxing Librarian. I'm out for now.